Grace Legacy did not begin as software. It began as years of lived experience, reflection, writing, curriculum development, and a persistent question. How can people move from pain, confusion, and survival into restoration, wisdom, and purposeful growth? Long before there was a dashboard, a learning pathway, or grace companion, there were lessons being written, frameworks being tested, journals being filled, and ideas being organized into something that could guide other people. The platform came later. The body of work came first. The earliest work behind Grace Legacy grew from questions that were not abstract. What helps a person rebuild after disruption? How do we create change that lasts beyond one emotional moment? How can faith, truth, emotional healing, responsibility, and practical action work together instead of competing with one another? Those questions emerged through real life, ministry, study, writing, coaching, and the long process of learning how restoration actually unfolds. Over time, repeated patterns became visible. People did not only need encouragement, they needed language for what they were experiencing, structure for what came next, and tools that could help them practice what they were learning. That realization led to curriculum. Lessons were developed to help learners slow down, understand where they were, identify patterns, reflect honestly, and take practical next steps. The work included teaching, reflection prompts, guided exercises, workbooks, restoration pathways, and tools designed to move ideas from inspiration into lived practice. Each new resource answered a real educational need. The goal was never to create more content for the sake of having more content. The goal was to create material that belonged together and could support meaningful progression. As the curriculum expanded, larger frameworks began to take shape. The R-cubed framework named Restoration, Reform, and Redemption as connected movements. CORE described compassion-oriented restoration and embodied transformation. The unified theory of redemption brought faith, integrity, service, hope, love, and grace into a coherent model. Wounded but Wiser developed as a focused restoration pathway, while additional tools translated the same principles into practical systems for everyday growth. These frameworks were not created as branding exercises. They emerged because the work needed an architecture strong enough to hold complex human experiences without reducing them to disconnected advice. Grace Legacy was shaped by a combination of lived experience and disciplined study. Personal restoration supplied the questions. Theology, ministry, business, coaching, writing, systems thinking, and ongoing research helped shape the answers. That combination mattered. The work needed to remain compassionate without becoming vague, structured without becoming rigid, faith-informed without ignoring emotional reality, and practical without losing depth. Over time, the material became more than a collection of lessons. It became an educational architecture, a way of organizing truth, reflection, application, and progression, so that learners could move through difficult material with dignity and direction. As the curriculum, frameworks, and resources continued to grow, documents alone could no longer carry the full vision. A folder can store material, but it cannot always show a learner where to begin, how one lesson connects to another, what support is available, or what the next appropriate step may be. The software platform was created to give the existing body of work a coherent learning environment. Technology did not invent Grace Legacy. It gave years of founder-authored educational work a secure, organized, and navigable home. Grace Legacy Academy is therefore not the beginning of the story. It is the next form of a mission that had already been developing through curriculum, frameworks, writing, restoration tools, and lived practice. The Academy brings that work into a structured learning environment where learners can encounter it with greater clarity, consistency, and support. In the next video, I will explain how Grace Legacy Academy is organized, how the umbrella ecosystem, learning platform, restoration pathways, foundational frameworks, and Grace Companion fit together. Subscribe to Grace Legacy Academy and continue through the Start Here series. The software may be new, but the work behind it has been years in the making.